Okay, we're back. It's the second section. This is the Hot Seat Radio Show. Sean Fortine, Mr. Moreno Valley, Daryl Terrell, and I am your host, the guy that throws rocks and then hides my hand, Donovan Saadiq, local troublemaker here in Moreno Valley. We're going to give you the news of what's going on nationally and at a local level. Kids are back in school. I know there's a lot of mothers out there that are just rejoicing in the streets because the kids are back in school. Free daycare for, I think they go to school for 6 hours out of the day because it ain't 8, it ain't a full-time job. So there's a lot of moms that are celebrating that. And of course, that also means if your child is at school, he or she is subject to Moreno Valley Unified School District local, I'm not going to say nothing bad about him, local moron, Evan Moron, who believes in forcible rape and all the other stuff that I keep talking about. And if you look at the video, he's going to be up here on the video, so I want you guys to know who this guy is. He's on the Moreno Valley School Board, and that's the kind of people we elect in this town. But in this segment, we're going to talk about Pence versus Trump. Mr. Terrell, Daryl Terrell, do you think that Mr. Trump is going to be reelected? He's in the low 30s right now. And Mr. Pence has a PAC. And what I'm saying is whatever this investigation comes out, because he's acting very strange for an innocent person, if he doesn't make it, is Pence getting ready to possibly take over the presidency and then run for re-election?
My gut feeling tells me where Trump is, I don't think he will give up on that. And I think Pence is playing it the right way and saying and deny. But Trump has fooled a lot of people. He might not want to run as a Republican. Maybe he'll run as independent because he's tired of the Republican Party. Maybe he just wants to say, you know what, I'm in the presidency now. I'm going to run third party, and because you Republicans, play the outside guy. He'll try to say, I did everything I could, and they couldn't do anything. So I want to be a true independent from both parties.
Okay.
That's what I think I run third party.
I honestly believe he's not a real Republican. So all this shenanigans he's doing and all this distraction, that to me that's a dummy crap, right out of the box. And for full-blooded true Republicans to support this clown, I mean, it's just destroying the Republican Party, in my opinion. What do you think, Sean?
I think it's going to be a lot of wait and see for a while. If Trump was going to resign, he'd probably want to hold out until at least 2019 when Pence would
be the incumbent.
Well, also when it would not count as a full term for Pence anymore.
Right. Okay. So
that would in theory give him up. If Pence was to become president, that would in theory give him up to 10 years as president.
I never thought about that.
But right now, I think a lot of it's going to come down to what the investigations show, who's behind the investigations, who's behind the media the endless negative media stories.
Leaks and stuff.
But because if you only watch the American news, all you'd hear is that Trump sucks, Trump sucks, Trump sucks 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
And there's all kinds of other stuff going on in the country and in the world that our media just is not talking
and
about.
They're not covering, right.
And
I agree.
It's going to come down to whether if Trump can vindicate himself, he'll do awesome. If the old establishment plays out their hand, and then Trump will do awesome. But if not, then he might have to resign. But I don't know. I think personally, I think he might do okay as long as the average American citizen that's working is being able to pay their bills.
Right. I honestly believe he's a secret Democrat because nothing that he's doing is Republican worthy, Republican friendly. It's not above board. You know, again, a businessman is the worst person to run government because government doesn't run as a business. He doesn't seem to understand that. To attack Mitch McConnell, who is a, not saying a lion of the Senate, but he is a master manipulator of the Senate and getting things through.
Yeah, I was surprised that McConnell won his last election.
Right, hey, the guy has a bag of tricks. He's like Felix the cat. I mean, he pulls those tricks out.
Yeah,
and gets it done.
McConnell, Ryan, Graham, a lot of those guys need to go. They're just old establishment.
Old establishment.
It's
type.
very Orwellian. It's very Animal Farm, where the animals looked at the end of the book. The animals looked at the men and the pigs, and they couldn't tell the difference.
Couldn't tell
anymore.
the difference, right? You couldn't tell the difference,
Yeah.
and you know, and like I said, I don't understand after 7 years of talking about replace, and you know, they didn't get it done, and you know, I can't blame that on Trump's part.
Well,
but
several of them were heavily influenced, and especially by money, by Planned Parenthood to not support the
the
repeal.
bill. Well, and I think that I think the Planned Parenthood angle had to do with the women's issues for a lot of women who get, you know, testing there. And you know, I mean, I wasn't for repeal. I'm for, you know, repair. You know, make it better.
Repair what? The thing's falling apart under its own weight.
Well, see, I'm gonna have to disagree with that because the only people that are complaining about the premiums going up are the people that can afford to pay the premiums. Because the average person here in Moreno Valley, or just the average low-level person, they're not paying $3,000 in premiums. It's the people who have $250,000 and they don't want to pay the They don't want to pay the $1,000 a month, but they can afford it. And it's really not falling apart because look how it's working here in California. Look how it's working in Massachusetts.
In most of the countries, the major insurance providers are pulling out of the co-ops.
Right, in certain areas like West Virginia and places like that, and those are from Republican governors who did not opt into the expanded Medicare. So when you look at it that way, if they didn't want to take the money that the government was going to do to help subsidize it, of course you're going to pull out as an insurance backer. But if you think about it right now, before, when you were 18 as a kid, you're off your parents' insurance, you're not putting into anything. There are more of us than there are of the wealthy elite. So if more of us are putting into it like it's supposed to work, if I was an insurance person and you have a pre-existing condition, of course you're going to go out of everybody. These people are smoking. These people are doing drugs. These people, the insurance companies aren't going to last. But the more people that are into it, how it's supposed to, that's why I say it, fix it. Because I don't blame them for pulling out because it's a suicide mission when you're not being subsidized by the government, and these governors did not want to take that money. Because to me it sounds like, this is my opinion, that the Republican governors are intentionally making it hard for this thing to be successful because it has Obama's nomenclature on it. What do you think, Donovan?
Well, they should. My thing is they should just piecemeal it. I mean, the things that people agree on, that's what you pass. Some people just repeal it, and I'm about repairing.
They tried that.
But that's what I'm saying. Some of the things that you feel that you get people to agree on, let's pass that.
Right.
Now the other part of it, yeah, it's gonna take a little time on it, but let's get some of the major things that they all agree on.
Well, the thing is that some of the co-ops that are failing cover several states, so there's no one governor that's sinking it.
Right. Well, you know, like I said, like here in California, there's no co-op that pulled out in California because you have so many people putting into the pool that said, "Oh my God, I'm being covered." And you know, the coverage isn't all that. I mean, you know, these people got the bronze plan. That's just, you know, you go in there, get a checkup, and oh, you're healthy. Okay, go about your business now, but please continue to pay us $40 a month. But if that person had a catastrophic illness, they're not going to cover, you know, this guy that has cancer. They're going to say, hey, hey, I'm sorry, your thing doesn't cover that because you're on the bronze plan because you're not putting in a lot of money into it. Massachusetts, it works. I mean, you know, it just depends on what the parameters are, and if you like it or you hate it, if you really look at the numbers, the only people statistically that are complaining are the middle wealthy elite, the people who can afford $1,000 premium. They just don't want to pay it. Because, you know, and again, is it fair? No, if I'm paying $40 and you're paying $3,000, of course that's not fair. But my debt to ratio, it is fair because I'm paying what I can pay based on my income. You're paying what you can pay based on your income.
Well, look at what happened in California. We had that single payer plan thing that went.
It should
They
have
put on,
gone.
and now they want to recall the speaker
Right.
because the speaker says, "Wait a minute, how are you going to fund all this for the single payer?" And now they won't.
The same way we did the gas thing. Just put it on people. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's one thing I'd say about the Assemblyman. He just the speaker said, "Well, hey, we ain't got no funding. We ain't gonna do it." But the nurses say, "Let's get rid of him because he don't want to do
Right.
single payer."
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, you got a lot of interest, special interest involved in this that say, "Hey, we want you to have single payer."
but why wouldn't you want a universal health care? Because if we don't, people are going to go right back to those hospitals, emergency rooms. You've got the illegals that are here that we're going to treat them anyway. It's going to cost us more on the other end. Other countries are doing it, so why not find something to make it work? I mean, it's already here. It's been when you give people something for 7 years, then you try to take it from them. It's just not going to happen.
Medicare is single payer.
Right. Right.
I mean, people kind of forget about that,
Yeah,
but it is.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that our only obligation for illegals would be in the case of infectious disease to make sure it doesn't spread to U.S. citizens.
True. True.
But as for everyone else, I don't know. I think some people play stupid games and win stupid prizes with their health, and we shouldn't be subsidizing that. I think the free market has done a lot to make quality health care and new treatments available, and that shouldn't be stifled. I think that there needs to be, it looks like there might even need to be 2 tiers of health care altogether.
Sure.
You might need to just have like expanded Medicare, Medicaid system, and then have the private system.
Right. Did you notice that the one Republican that really shot this thing down was John McCain? Isn't it funny how he is now having a cancer scare? Of course, Congress is not subject to Obamacare.
Yeah.
Okay, they're exempt from Obamacare.
Yeah, well, John McCain has been having secret deals with George Soros, and he's got a Facebook picture where he with Natalia Valenskaya. He's sold his soul. Soros was the broker,
Right.
and he's sold out to the highest bidder.
Well, yeah, whatever makes him look like the maverick.
Yeah,
that he is. He wants to be the hero.
Yeah, he voted against it just simply to spite Trump.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. When Trump was like, he was a captured, whatever, But I just think it's funny. I think maybe because he was going through that cancer scare, he's like, wait a minute. If I was a regular person and I didn't have any medical thing, this is a brain cancer, which he's going to die from. He'd have no coverage, and it's like, oh my God.
I don't know. I think he's too far removed from the average person to think like that.
Sure.
He has all the money he needs to pay for his treatments out of pocket without putting a dent in his finances.
Right. Well, actually, he is on Medicare because he's 80 years old, so he is in the Medicare system. So, which is a great system if you can get into it. So hopefully people will live long enough and they can get into that. Now on the local level, we're going to have some elections coming up. County supervisor, I believe, is coming up. No, is it county supervisor?
Yes.
With Alty Smith.
It's the Marion Ashley seat, District 5 and District 2, John Tavoloni seat.
Okay, who would you recommend for that that's running? I know Alty Holcomb, not Smith. Holcomb is running. And he was the chief of staff for Richard Roth. And I think there's, what's her name? Penny Newman is also running. I'm not sure if it's the same seat. I think it is.
No, that one's in for John Tavoloni. That's more the Riverside
side.
North Cole, Corona.
Okay, and here in Moreno Valley, we have the mayor coming up, the mayor seats coming up, District 4 again, and District 2. Sean, you happen to live in District 2. What have you heard? What's going on in the streets?
The only the only one I've heard that might run might be the Pedons.
You think the Pedons are going to run?
Yeah.
I know one of the Pedons is on Eloise Reyes' staff, which is a good thing. Which Pedon do you think it is?
I don't know. I'm not sure it really matters. They
Yeah,
tend to,
yeah, it's-
they're twins and they tend to act like a
one.
they tend
symbiote.
to act like a hive mind. So
Right.
I don't know if it really matters.
Right. So, well, if they do run, and Gaiba doesn't, we don't know if he's going to run for re-election or not. Most
I
likely
don't see
not.
how he's out of allies.
Right. But maybe it's summertime. Maybe he's over there. Hey, Ito, I'm going to do that. This is my plan. This is what I wanted to do, and get the heat off of you. I don't know. But right now, if the Pedons are the only choice, would you vote for them in your district?
I don't know. My big concern with the Pedons is that their ideas are very heavy in theory
Right.
as opposed to proven practical ideas.
Right. Right.
And we need,
public policy. Public policy.
yeah. Sometimes it almost seems like they went to like the Saul Alinsky School of Public Policy. But anyways, I don't know. I think we need practical solutions. There are tried and true practical solutions that aren't getting done because so much of our time and effort is getting directed into warehouses, and our city councils and our planning commission's attention is all being diverted to a certain section of District 3
Sure.
as opposed to looking out for the rest of the city.
Mhm.
So I think right now we need practical solutions that, quite frankly, the Pedons don't seem to have much experience with.
Right. Daryl, you were in District 5, but District 4, wait, real quick. Do you think maybe Corey Jackson would run again? He almost won last time.
Not if the Pedons do.
Okay, so
I mean,
they're in the same group, and I'm
yeah,
just
I mean,
saying
the
he
Pedons
came
are
very
agreeable
close.
enough, but I'm not sure they have. I'm not sure they take the city in the direction that would
We need to go.
would bring it to make it prosper.
Okay, in District 4, Council Child Carveris has to go up for re-election. Of course, he's going to be sucking Ito's
Mm-hmm.
to get more money to re-elect. Now, we don't know what damage he's going to do in the next year or so.
Mhm.
We know his butt buddy, Mayor Gutierrez,
Mhm.
is going to run for re-election because he can't win anywhere else because he's not ethical enough to do that. Do you see Kid Carveris winning in a rematch?
That comes down to how complacent the voters are.
Right, so
I think that he can
only
have all,
600 people voted in the election,
yeah.
so.
I mean, if he had all the signs and all the canvassers
$90,000, right?
and all that, if people just actually like looked up what he's about or what he's not about, really, he's really not about anything except his only platform he's ever had is marijuana advocacy.
Right, exactly.
And so he has really no practical experience in anything, really. And if people would just look at their choices, Cabrera wouldn't
be on the list.
wouldn't be on the list no matter how much money he has behind him.
Right, and we've tried to wake people up in that district, and get. When only 600 people show up to vote, that's a problem in itself. But
Yeah.
Daryl, for mayor, who do you think would be a viable candidate? Like right now, nobody's talking. If you're going to be running for these elections, you need to get out there now and get get ahead of the game. But that's what I'm saying. These people, they run almost unopposed. Well, what do you think should happen here?
Well, I think there'll be people, but I guess they're not going to show their hand. If they are doing stuff, they're doing the invisible, we call it election, where they are
Working behind the scenes.
they're working behind the scenes, they're getting supporters, or they're working strategy. They're not letting no one know what they're up to until they go out there. You start seeing signs and work behind, just being visible into his time. Because a lot of people don't want to show their hands.
Right,
now.
but that strategy has been proven as a losing strategy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's going to do it. They're not letting it be known.
Yeah, if an unknown person jumped up and said, "I want to run for mayor," and let's just give a hyper example, somebody like me who came out of nowhere, claims to be from, Moreno Valley, and and all that stuff proves to be true, and they run. They weren't necessarily know about the WLC, but they're against warehouses or whatever. Would you be apt to support that person, or would you want to go with somebody that you're more familiar with?
Well, familiar with is one thing, but is what they know about the issues in depth. I mean, more like Sean was saying, more practical solutions, not just a pie in the sky. I want to bring jobs. Okay, what kind of jobs? This kind of job. Okay. It's like when people have on their little placards, I want to bring high-paying jobs. Who want to come to this town when you don't have an educated, skilled workforce here? I mean,
Nobody. Who wants to buy houses when you got warehouses everywhere?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But when people keep saying the generic stuff, it's always generic. I'm going to fight crime. I'm going to put more police on the street.
Fix the roads.
And say,
Well,
okay.
they're not fighting crime.
No.
Well, that's the point. You ask us, okay, you say you're going to do it. What are you exactly going to do? How are you going to put more police on the street?
What's going to make you different?
Yeah, where are you going to get the money to do this? And it says, I'll get back to you later. I said, well, forget that person. Because they ain't going to never get back. If it is, it's going to be some BS answer.
Let me ask you this, Daryl. If there is nobody to oppose Gutierrez, would you, if nominated or if asked to run, would you run? You have the experience.
I would
You have the
seriously.
voice.
I would seriously think about it. I'm not going to. It's like everything
Basically,
else.
you want to see the check first before you put yourself out
Well, no, it's just like I've been
there.
looking
And the
at
check
this.
is for signs and funds and stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's that, but it's just like you were saying. You're going out there. You can't. Yeah, I always talk about being a ripple of hope. In theory, that if you want something better, if you want to make the change, that you have to go out there and tell them, let the people know that here's what my vision is for the city. This is where I want to take it, and it's not going to be easy, but we can do it. And it's not all talk. It's not BS. It's proven track record that I got things done. But I like what I've been doing with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I enjoy not had the pressure going out there. Not saying I don't like knocking on doors and talking to people, but is it really? You have to ask the question: is it really worth it?
Right.
Is it really worth it? Have I made a difference in the city?
I think you have.
I made a lot of it. I can see my ideas all around this city. So why would I need a position to legitimize myself? But again, it's not about legitimize me. It's about what kind of leadership you could bring to galvanize people to work together for a common thing. And my thing is always about building a bridge to the American dream, because there's so many people out here that need hope. And like Sean, they're not addressing issues like mental health, homelessness. We're not talking about real issues. All we're talking about these PR stuff. Well, look how many doors we open. Look how many businesses we open. But okay, at the same time, how many people in poverty? How many people don't have a ladder to get up? And why are we not providing that ladder? Are we saying we got jobs, but people are still poor and people don't have no pathway into the middle class? The middle class is shrinking and we're not doing anything about it. But everything's okay. That's what the state of the city is all about. Everything is so fine and everything, but there's people out there that are suffering. There's people that need a not a handout, a help up. They need a ladder of economic opportunity to go into the middle class, and we haven't provided. Just providing a warehouse job is not it. It's not the.
Well, the thing is, the warehouse job, these younger kids don't want it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because these jobs are needed for people who have low skill, yes, but
also word's getting out about that they don't pay well and they don't last.
They don't last. You're not getting any benefits out of it. You're not getting anything.
they're just wearing you out, wearing your body out to the point where you're going to be going to the getting Tylenol, getting Advil because you can't go to the doctor or whatever.
And you were hired by a third party, so you're screwed right in that aspect. We've got check cashing places popping up all over the place. We've got 99-cent stores.
Oh,
Yeah, you know it's bad when even the check cashing places go out of business.
You know you're in a poor city when that happens.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. But see, that's the kind of thing you have to ask yourself before you jump into the political arena again. That's the kind of question I have to ask myself: do I really want to do it?
Right.
And I'm enjoying my life or living my life to the fullest. Do I need a headache?
Right.
But the headache might be worth it if I could get things done.
But if drafted, will you serve?
Who wouldn't?
I might not. I think
I
I do a better job what we're doing here.
Well, like I said, it's I don't need a position to be somebody in this community. I always tell people I don't need a position to be somebody. I'm already somebody.
Right.
I don't
The
need
problem right now is that there's nobody in a position to actually change where the community block grants are going. There's nobody to change how law enforcement
Right, or speak up.
is spread out. Or how many or how big our law enforcement budget is. It's all
Accounting tricks.
it's counting tricks. It's people that don't really want law enforcement because it would cause illegal alien criminals to get deported.
Right.
It
That's
would
what I'm saying.
cause-
It would change the narrative of what the city wants to be. They want it as low and undesirable as possible.
that would be a reason to consider something like that. Is because of the fact that the issues that you're talking about and what you talk about, Donovan. And I always go back to the lady with the hole in the roof. And I always think about the slumlords in this community, and I think about the potholes I see.
Or the gray lady.
Right.
Oh yeah, I saw that person at Lowe's. I think.
Right.
It scared the dickens out of
Yeah.
her.
I hear she's completely harmless, just really bizarre and
Yeah.
needs a lot of help.
But that's what I'm saying though. I mean, issues like that, when you see someone like that, you have to ask yourself. Being a mayor is much more than cutting ribbons or running some meeting. It's about inspiring people.
Right.
It's about
But by being the mayor, though, like this idiot has set a precedent, you control the agenda. So if we can just get that one seat.
you're right. And the things that put on the table where you can address mental health, you could create collaborations. You could have county personnel to go with our police officers like they do in other cities to go and tackle that issue.
Sure.
And tackle homelessness. And some people say, again, there's no homelessness. Yeah, maybe because you got your hands covered over your eyes. Or
Or maybe if you like go out and do your shopping late at night, you'll finally notice like the homeless lady that's screaming and yelling and having an argument with someone that's not there, or getting hit up for money, like having someone come up behind you on a bicycle and ask for money. And
Yeah, I hate that.
go into full adrenaline rush like you're gonna get robbed.
Right.
Yeah,
But they don't mean it, but they have no clue what they're doing.
Right.
You've been in a drive-through, somebody comes in, hey, I'm like,
Yeah, you got
hey,
any change,
you know?
whatever.
But that's what I'm talking about. These are issues that are real issues to me, other than public safety, issues like poverty, and again, mental health, homeless.
Well,
And I'm probably going to catch hell for this, but I've also said in the past that for traffic enforcement, if we change it towards less about tickets and to where they just pull over lots of people for any little thing, which is completely legal, the courts have ruled on that. But really, if you're not dirty, then you get a warning, and basically just use the traffic stops just to get fishing for people that are have warrants, have weapons, stolen cars, all that stuff, and just.
Oh no, they have rights. You can't do that. No, I'm against checkpoints. Yeah, I stood up because there was this black man and he didn't pay his child support, and that's why I got arrested.
I've never heard of people getting arrested for child support unless there's something else really extreme going on.
Yeah, that was a testimony from Victoria Baca.
Yeah, but the thing is that if these illegal aliens are so law-abiding, then they shouldn't be having police contact.
Right, well, I'm going to tell you this. The next time that the Edo employees show up at City Council, I'm calling ICE. That's on the record. I'm going to call ICE and see how many of them actually stay in City Council.
Yeah.
And
So I just think that we've become a dumping ground for Prop 109, AB, or AB 107, Prop 109. We've become a place to put halfway houses, and
undesirables.
yeah, and it's a place for undesirables to come crash and do their thing without.
Which is the same story. Any city that has the warehouse that we have experiences the exact same phenomenon. It attracts homelessness and undesirables because this is the only job you're going to get.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Well, they're not even working. They're not even trying to find a job. They're just looking for some place to crash and some place to rob so they can get their next fix.
Well, that's the whole purpose about leadership, and again about being mayor or whatever. It's the fact to talk about the issue, tackle the issue and to come up with a plan and follow up and make sure that plan gets through. And controlling the agenda is the important thing of that. Having one person in that seat where they can control the agenda, where we can galvanize people.
Right. Well, if you become the mayor, could you please go back, maybe expand public talking to 5 minutes versus the 2 minutes that is now where it's at?
Now, if I ever consider something like that, but I mean, in all seriousness, I think people should have 3 minutes. They should have. See, I went to Palm Springs; they only have 2 minutes,
Right.
but
It is Palm Springs. It's a small community.
But here we need 3 minutes, but also 2.
The only reason we have 2 minutes is because the mayor doesn't give a crap about what anyone has to say and doesn't want to hear it.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you offer a platform for people to speak their mind, it's a good platform. When I think about going to city council meetings, I say, why go?
Right.
I mean, I like doing this kind of format where I can speak my mind.
And even though people don't listen, they listen, but they don't listen, but they say they don't listen, but they can quote everything that we say on the show.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, because it needs change in this town. It's just not the same old, like you're saying. We need a different kind of change that, again, like you're saying, we shouldn't have a city where we consider this is the drop-off point,
Right.
where we could go after the, like you said, joint enforcement with to go after these probation folks, the AB 109s, and make sure that they are abiding by the rules of law. If they're not, they need to get out of here. But at the same time, we need to do something to lift people's spirit, not just talk. Like I said, I talk about it because, to me, the language that I use is try to inspire people that you can do better. And I refuse to say we can't do better. The reason that if I even choose to do something, if I ever consider doing something like this, ever getting run for public office, is to inspire people that you, me, or anybody, your neighbors, are the change, and they are the ripple of hope that could change this. And you don't ripple of hope your own self in Edgemont because you brought attention to that lady and to your own community. Right. You started a way. This show is part of a ripple of hope for a lot of people.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.